Sidekick Accounting, and as promised, I am here to talk about some of the pitfalls for nonprofits. I'm excited to be going through a number of the industries that we specifically serve and some of the pitfalls that we find that they have. So, one of the pitfalls for nonprofits, that's one of the industries we work in, and this is typically a big one when we come into an organization, and it is putting in place checks and balances. So, you may not know this, but when it comes to nonprofits, especially, but any organization, especially ones that are receiving governmental funds, or maybe they're receiving fundings from grants, it's really, really important, and something they really often look for is that there are checks and balances in place. And so you might be thinking, what in the world is a check and a balance, right? Written out a check. What it basically means is that it's a process and procedure um, to ensure that somebody isn't doing the same thing all the way through the pipeline. So, for example, when money comes in the form of through the mail, maybe there's checks that come in through the mail. The same person that is opening the checks is not the same person that is depositing the checks. The same person receiving the cash is not the same person that is depositing and recording the cash. And the reason why that's important is because then it ensures that there is no funny business happening. And this often comes up as part of the audit when with nonprofits specifically. So when a firm comes in and they audit the firm's books, or the company's books, the organization's books, that is something that the accounting firm is looking for. They're wanting to see that checks and balances are in place, that somebody doing one thing is accountable to somebody else. We see this a lot, especially with our bill payments. We often help people with their bills. We have a process in place to ensure that checks and balances. We process the bills, but we do not approve the bills. Somebody else has to be doing that before the money leaves the bank account. Putting checks and balances, thinking about how you can do that, even if you're not a nonprofit, can be super, super helpful just to make sure things are savvy. When you start having people and your team, and they might be doing different things as far as using company money, maybe they have a company credit card, or maybe they have access to a company credit card, figuring out how to have them account for the purchases that they are making is really, really important to that checks and balances piece of running an organization. That is one of the big pitfalls that you have, because if you don't have checks and balances in place when you're building out your organization, you might not have the right structure and framework to support the things that you do later on. Because if you get audited, you could, and have those things be in place, you could lose funding. You could have somebody that embezzle, God forbid, but that can happen. And so having these checks and balances is really, really important. And that's something that we help our clients do, to kind of things, and then putting those pieces in place so that they can be in compliance. So if you are a nonprofit, or even if you're not, because it can be really important for both nonprofits and for-profit organizations, start thinking about how you have checks and balances in place and how you can start putting them into your business. And that will help you be successful, longevity company and organization, so that you can continue to have an impact on the people that you serve. So is one of the pitfalls. Follow me for more. We're going to be talking more and more about different things that come up, and hopefully this little tidbit was helpful. Talk to you later, and have a fantastic weekend. Bye.